Dunkeld Bridge is an outstanding example of the engineering genius of Thomas Telford. At 208 metres in length, with 7 spans, and built in 1809 at the cost of over £33,000. It was a toll bridge, which became extremely unpopular with locals and even provoked riots in 1868. Dunkeld was the most important religious centre in Perthshire's history, for it was believed that St Columba founded a monastery here in the 6th century. In the 8th century, Celtic monks from Iona settled here to escape the Viking raids. And in the 9th century, Kenneth MacAlpin, the king who had united the Picts and the Scots, chose Dunkeld to be the religious capital of Scotland. A magnificent cathedral, whose ruins can still be seen today, superseded a later abbey in 1318. Whilst the great nave and the aisles remain roofless, many years of hard work have repaired the choir, which now acts as the parish church. Some fascinating tombs are to be found here, including what is believed to be the burial place of the infamous Wolf of Badenoch, the 14th century illegitimate son of King Robert II, who conducted a reign of terror over much of the Highlands. Also here you'll find the 19th century tomb of Count Roenstaert, Charles Edward Stuart by name. He was the child of Bonnie Prince Charlie's daughter by a French bishop, and spent his entire life seeking royal recognition before being killed in a coach accident. In the choir there is a chink in the wall which allowed lepers to follow the Mass without infecting the more fortunate folk of the area. The 4th Duke of Atholl planted some 17 million conifer trees in and around the glens and straths of Atholl Estate during his lifetime, and was known as the Planting Duke. At Dunkeld, near the cathedral, is the remaining parent larch, planted 250 years ago, collected from the Tyrol Mountains in Central Europe in 1738, and used as the seed source for the large-scale plantings. The 7th Duke brought in the Japanese larch years later, and in 1904 the first hybrids of the 2 strains of larch were being grown. The hybrid is faster growing and disease resistant, and this product of Perthshire is now cultivated throughout the northern hemisphere. Dunkeld was popular with successive Dukes of Atholl as a winter retreat, and the 2nd Duke travelled from Blair in a sedan chair, a journey that took 13 hours even after the opening of the improved military road in 1739. Dunkeld was completely rebuilt after it had been burned to the ground. Following the Battle of Killiecrankie, a few miles north of here, fighting continued to rage between the newly formed Covenanting regiment known as the Cameronians and the Jacobite army, and spilled over into Dunkeld itself, which was held by the Cameronians. Struggling to hold the town, the Cameronians began to strip the lead from the cathedral roof to make ammunition, and eventually set fire to the town as they retreated. The centre of Dunkeld, with its attractive whitewashed houses, has been well restored by the National Trust for Scotland. Also situated here is a Perthshire Tourist Board information centre, packed with local guides, maps and books, and indeed the knowledgeable local staff are always on hand to further advise. Accommodation can also be booked here. Queen Victoria once stayed overnight at the Royal Dunkeld Hotel, confessing in her journal that they had chosen Dunkeld for its resemblance to Switzerland. Another famous son of Dunkeld was J.J.R. MacLeod, who was born close by at New Cluny in 1876. He devoted his life in the medical profession to the treatment of diabetes and became famous as the co-discoverer of insulin. A short distance out of the town, the Scottish Wildlife Trust manages the Loch of the Lowes Wildlife Centre, where you can watch ospreys from the observation hide during the breeding season, and you may see great crested grebes and perhaps even otters, with high-powered binoculars and telescopes available in the hide to ensure the best views possible. This wildlife centre has a unique display telling the story of the Loch of the Lowes, its history and wildlife. There's also a small shop with friendly, knowledgeable rangers and volunteers always on hand. Just 1 mile west of Dunkeld is the Hermitage. The Dukes of Atholl created this fantastic combination of waterfalls, rapids, swirling pools and amazing trees in the 18th century. This is one of Scotland's oldest managed forests and was an important part of a great expansion of forestry centred in Perthshire. Indeed, the seeds were scattered onto the dramatic crags of Craigiebarnes, just across the Tay from here, by cannon. The viewpoint at Craigenloske offers unrivalled views over the hermitage and Telford's Bridge at Dunkeld. Craigvinion has over 40 miles of forest road accessible to mountain bikes when forestry work permits. A long but technically easy route is laid out, but to make the most of the hill, use a good quality map. However, please obey any warning signs. Rejoin the main A9, and as the road north heads swiftly on, across the river you will see a tall standing of trees, which are the fastest growing trees in the country, situated near Dalgais, now an activity centre, but formerly leased for a number of summer seasons to the Potter family.